Hammer gang. Cause we always hit the nail on the head. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Y'all leave a comment in the chat. Let me know who's in here. I'm gonna put the link in the comment section too. Tonight, anybody could join in on the discussion, but we mainly gonna talk about conference play. We're gonna talk about different scenarios for conference play. We're gonna talk about the Big Apple, Notre Dame. Is what it is. Developments between Notre Dame and Miami has came to my attention, so I'm gonna bring it to y'all. Some of y'all might have already heard it. Who knows? But let me put this link in the chat, so if anybody want to join the show tonight, y'all could come on in. What's going on? What's going on? Miami Hurricanes, what's up? Jay Play, what's up? Gang, gang. What up, Dennis? How you doing, boss? Just cancel. VT, what's good? He said just cancel Notre Dame season. We don't need to schedule them just to help them out. Well, what's going on, Rose? Fellow college football fan in the building. He's a Seminole. What's going on, man? How you doing, man? You good? All right, so we could start off with Notre Dame. So apparently Notre Dame going through all this issues with scheduling. As you already know, the Big Ten and the Pac-12 already announced that they're going conference only. Now, if you know, those two have already went public about it. The ACC is soon to follow. SEC is soon to follow. And after that, the Big 12, they're going to follow also. So eventually it'll only be conference games. Now, there was a couple scenarios that was thrown out there about these conference games, and we're gonna talk about that. We don't want to play them sorry bums. Well, Dennis, according to your athletic director, that's the total opposite, man. That's the total opposite. According to Blake James himself, he wants Notre Dame. He's already putting it out there that he wants Miami to play Notre Dame 2020. He wants it. Now, if you know, last time Miami played Notre Dame was back in 2017, where we mollywopped that ass. I think they were ranked number 3 in the country. We were ranked number 7. All the odds were stacked against us. They was expecting them to come in there and beat us down. Boy, were they wrong. Nah, we ain't scared of Notre Dame. We ain't scared of nobody. Hey, man, throw Clemson on there if you have to. I'm gonna pull up some of the stuff so y'all can go through it with me. Y'all can see it, see it on the screen for yourself. See what I'm seeing. Make sure you guys, see it for yourself. That I ain't just throwing stuff out there. Hell no, Miami isn't scared of Notre Dame. Never been. We never been scared of them. Never will be either. So let me pull this up real quick. Yeah, nobody's scared of Clemson either. I think if we some of these scenarios that they was talking about, if it happens that way, then Clemson might be one of those talks too. What's going on, Nick? He said Miami will get a good revenge. I'm guessing Ray. I'm guessing you a Notre Dame fan. Oh man, I hope not, man, because I know that last time we met, you probably still got a sour taste in your mouth if you're a Clemson, if you're a Notre Dame fan. What's going on, Orange and Green Blood? What's good, boss? Say Blake James can't tie his shoes. Oh man. All right, so let me go ahead and get that article pulled up. Get this thing pulled up for y'all. All righty. He said make Miami average again. Man, he definitely a Notre Dame fan. That sucks, man. Sucks for you guys. Right now, y'all scrambling to get a schedule together. Yo, what's going on, Slim? Some shady in the building. All right, let me pull this article on the screen real quick. So basically, it's what a conference only slate should look like for the Power Five teams. Talking about your ACC, SEC, Big Ten, Big 12, you name it. So basically, if they were to do like a ten game schedule with no bye weeks, this would allow for games to be rescheduled if dates are postponed due to COVID-19 outbreaks. So if somebody were to, get an outbreak or whatever, a couple of the kids probably, tested positive, it'll probably give them like a good 2 weeks or so to, quarantine and, check on them, see if they're healthy and get them back out there. Divisional games in the first half of the season. So what they want to look at also too is you might have Miami, like Miami's on the coastal. So what they might do is have Miami play the first six coastal games on that side first. So if you know our 2020 schedule, then you know our ACC schedule with Miami playing Florida State and Wake Forest from the Atlantic side. So what they would do is those two games would be pushed to the back of the schedule. They would make sure that Miami plays out like Duke, Virginia Tech, and all those teams first. So just in case something happened and they got to cut the season short, or they got to start the season, cut it short and start it up somewhere else. At least they get those games out the way. So if they had to crown a coastal champion, then they already got those 6 games out the way. Then if they have to pick up later on, then we'll play Florida State, Wake Forest, might even be Notre Dame too. Might even be Notre Dame because I was reading the article earlier. I'll pull it up. I couldn't find it on the computer, but I do have it on my phone. Hold on, let me see if I'm gonna try one more time to find it on the computer after we go through this real quick. Let's run through this. Then you got cross divisional games in the back half, like I said. So like it's your teams like your Clemson, if we were to schedule Clemson, if we were to schedule like, North Carolina State or Boston College or somebody like that, we wouldn't play them the first 6 games of the season. It would be like if it's 10 games, then they would be like, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But we'll definitely get the coastal games out the way first. Then they talking about flex date, which, conference basically giving us a maximum of 10 games. And they'll have like basically they'll make time that if we do have some outbreaks and stuff like that, then they'll go from there with the bye weeks and stuff like that. Yeah, basically they might even extend. They're talking about also might even extend the college football playoffs to 8 teams for just this one season. So all the non-con games, would be pretty much kicked out. But you definitely, if they do go to an 18 playoff system, I think it would be way better because it'll show teams like I think they should go to an 8-team playoffs regardless. But this season, if you have all these conference champions, because the Power Five itself, that's five. That's going to be five conference champions right there. If you have a full playoff system, now they're going to be going back and forth. Who get in, who don't get in. Who conference is better than who conference, and then it's going to be a whole mess. So they might even go to like an 8-team playoff system, and then even when they do that, it's going to be issues down the line because you might have an Alabama team or something like that who done great throughout the whole season. They just ain't win no they just didn't win the conference or whatever. But some of the other conferences might have teams in there after the five conference champions. You got 3 slots to fill, so it's going to be a big argument there too. A one-loss Alabama team, or you might have like a one-loss Michigan, just to throw them out there or something like that. Who do you put in there? The SEC gonna think they the greatest conference, so they deserve to be put in that spot. So it's gonna be all around tough, man. It's gonna be a lot of discussions going on about this. Or they was even talking about creating a bubble like the NBA playoffs. That'll be kind of tough though. They talking about like maybe in December or early January. That'll be some tough scenarios right there. And no, okay. And this is what they talking about. What schedules might look like for like the Big Ten. This is what the schedule might look like for Ohio State. They're gonna play basically all conference games. All conference games. They have their side of the conference, which will be the first 6 games on there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So after they play Michigan, then they'll have the 4 on the other side or whatever. But I don't really think the Big Ten even gonna have much problem crowning the champion. I mean, if you look at the conference itself, you might as well just say Ohio State gonna win it. So we ain't even gonna pay them too much attention. But in the SEC, like for instance, the Alabama schedule, Alabama will play all the teams on their side, and then they'll play a couple teams on the east side, the weak side, like Georgia. So that Georgia game might, like for instance, with the SEC, Alabama schedule, Georgia was supposed to be the week 3 game, but since they're gonna play their side of the conference first, Georgia is gonna be shifted to the back end, the last 4. So the first 6 conference games on their division is gonna get played first, and it goes on for each conference. You got the Pac-12, Oregon, ACC. They chose to use Clemson. Like Clemson would play, Boston College, Florida State, NC State, all those teams on that side. They might still play Notre Dame. That's something to look. They might still play Notre Dame, and they might play Miami at the end of the season. Which I think Miami and Notre Dame. I think Miami should flip with Notre Dame. I think we should play them right after our first 6. That way, if we do have a hiccup and lose, we still play like 3 more games and possibly meet them in the ACC championship. That's just my thoughts on that. Hold on, let me check. Let me check on the chat real quick while I'm doing all of that. Say, matter. Yeah, 6-14 should be in. Hey, that would be fine, man. I'd love to see that, man. Because I mean, you got teams that's not in the Power Five that they win their conference. Throw all of them in there, man. Let it be a toss up. I mean, we all probably can agree that one of those Power Five teams gonna come out on top. But it would be nice to actually see those other teams get a fair chance. He said hiccup. Them hiccup games. Said Georgia sucks. Florida will take the East. Well, possibility. I mean, to me, it's either going to be Florida or Georgia. I don't think. I mean, in the next couple of years, Tennessee going to be a contender, but at this moment, I don't see them being a contender. Not this season, at least. What's going on, boss? How you doing, man? They're winning all those games. Who's winning all those games? This is all bad. No college football season. No second stimulus check. uh, uh, Now, according to all these news outlets and according to Trump himself, this actually came out of Trump's mouth. I've seen the video. There is supposed to be another stimulus coming out. They're working on it, whatever. Now, when it's coming out, I can't tell you that. But I have heard and I have seen videos of himself actually saying it. They didn't go into detail of when it's coming out, but they working on it. Oh man, that stimulus thing got Ray attention. I might have to go do some research then, because I didn't hear anything about the rejection of the next one. He said this year sucks. Yeah, I mean it's tough, man. It's a tough year. Hold on, let me pull up. Let me try to see if I could pull up the conversation that was had about Notre Dame. That's why I probably couldn't find it. I got the capital locks on. Okay, I found it. I found it. There it is. Okay, so second, oh, he said the Senate shut it down. Man, that's tough. That's tough. I was actually looking forward to that little money. But I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully, they work on something, man. There's a lot of people been out here without jobs for a minute. That first stimulus ain't gonna hold them forever. I'm pretty sure most of them blow through it the first second they got it. They got to pay rent, got to pay bills, stuff like that. And I know in the state of Florida, none of they didn't shut down, like they didn't stop people from collecting rent or nothing like that. So people still got to pay their rent and stuff like that. And it's tough because a lot of people's out of a job. Yeah, man. R.I.P. to Kobe, man. Kobe actually my favorite player of all time. Nah, y'all don't get that misconstrued. I didn't say he was the greatest player of all time. I say he's my favorite player of all time. I'm a Laker fan. He spent that first stimulus on beer. That's tough, man. Okay, but anyway, let me pull up the article. I feel you, bro. It's a lot of it's a lot of people out there that gonna say Michael Jordan the greatest. They're gonna say Bill Russell. They're gonna say Abdul Jabbar. It's a lot of names out there that could be all argued. I mean, if you ask some Laker fans, they might even say Kobe or LeBron. But it is what it is. It's at the end of the day, it's an opinion. But the majority will say Michael Jordan was the greatest player of all time. But anyway, let me pull up this article so y'all can see what Blake James was talking about. As y'all can see right there, Miami interested in helping Notre Dame fill a 2020 schedule. A 2020 schedule, man. That's tough. That's tough. Let me get to the point. Okay, here go what Blake James said. James said in an email to the Miami Herald on Saturday, if the opportunity for a matchup with Notre Dame is presented, we will be thrilled to have the game added to our 2020 schedule. We will be thrilled. We will be thrilled to play Notre Dame. Miami Miami contest with Michigan State was set for the 23rd, for the 26th of September. Notre Dame is currently scheduled to travel to a whole bunch of bull crap. So I don't think the ACC is going to actually force Notre Dame. I don't think they're going to force Notre Dame to actually join the conference, which I think they should. But Miami is very interested in playing Notre Dame. Came out of Blake James' mouth himself. Say MJ to go. Hold on, wait a minute. I don't think they should have a season. I'm sorry. Not. I mean, it's tough, man. A lot of parents gonna feel the same way you do, and a lot of them gonna say, "It's up to you. This might be your only chance of making it to the league." Now, think about it like those linebackers that played behind Pickney and Quarterman. Think about those linebackers. They didn't get pretty much no play time. So if they don't play this season, the possibility of getting drafted is probably slim to none. So you're gonna have some kids that's gonna say, "Hey, I've been sitting behind somebody for a long time now. It's my time to shine. If I don't play now, I might never play. I might never make it to the league." So some of those kids will be willing to play. Some of those parents will be willing to sign waivers or whatever if they need to. I mean, it's a tough situation. If it was up to me, all this Corona stuff will go away and we'll have a regular season, go 12-0. But it is what it is. Oh, say Bill Russell was the greatest. Hey, I ain't contesting none of it, man. At the end of the day, everybody got their opinion on who the greatest is. Tough. It's tough. You say Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is the unquestionable GOAT. Watch Jason Terry and you say you watched them shut down LeBron in the finals. I mean, Is what it is. A lot of people might actually say LeBron is the greatest. A lot of them gonna say Jordan, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's a lot of names can be thrown out there depending on who what fan base it is, what generation actually watched these guys play. Because I mean, a lot of when it comes down to the greatest basketball players of all time, they always bring up the argument of, you played in this era or you played in that era. This era was harder than this era, and it's a bunch of comparisons that you can't really make because we don't have time machines, man. We can't take Michael Jordan back into the days and have him play against Bill Russell or something like that. So it's tough. Then you got Slim Shady Kane. I think he just hate LeBron. Man, he say parents aren't involved in college football players of all age. Oh, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how many parents will tell their kids not to play, and they will listen to their parents. They will listen. Some of them would play regardless. Some of them gonna listen to their parents, and they not gonna play. It's a tough situation. Say Notre Shame not trying to share. Like I said, man, I think Notre Dame should join a conference. I think right now the ACC should put their foot down. Make Notre Dame join. Make Notre Dame join. They already in the conference in basketball and every other sports. Join in football too. Yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff we'll never know. Yep. Anyway, let me. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. So if anybody got StreamYard and want to join in on the conversation, let us know how you feel about conference only, playing the divisional side first. Go sit down, baby. You throwing up there? You doing wrong too. Yeah, but the link is in the chat. You guys want to come in and give your opinions, let us know who you think the greatest player of all time is too. You can do that. Let us know how you feel about, the whole college football scheduling, conference only, Notre Dame, all of that. Ron is on the Lakers, so I have to go with him. But Kobe, and I grew up watching Kobe, man. They look up the Jordan rule. Um, Orange and Green. Is that like a movie? Is that like you know? Is that like a movie or like a documentary or something? Say Evander showed us who Mike Tyson was. Oh, speaking of Mike Tyson, I think he was supposed to have a fight. I think he was supposed to have a fight soon, man. I think Mike Tyson was supposed to have a fight. I'm not sure if they still having that fight. Did they already fight? I know I seen something about it. Hold on, I gotta check on that. It was. I know Mike Tyson old as crap right now. I know he was supposed to fight somebody. Yeah, he was supposed to fight somebody, but it ain't it. I can't find it. But it's another old guy, just as much as him. He said Mike Tyson just training. Now he had a fight scheduled. I know he had a fight scheduled with another older guy. He was. They were supposed to fight. I seen the article a little bit earlier on. I think like maybe like a month or two ago, that he was supposed to fight some other guy up in age. Isaiah Thomas, Isaiah Thomas and Jordan had bad blood going on. Yeah, I heard they didn't even want to play on the same team with each other. Say when Mike Tyson fought Evander Holyfield, he wasn't in his prime anymore. He went to prison and had came out. And only till today, the only thing anybody can remember about that whole fight is just Mike Tyson biting off his ear. Speaking of fights, though, that recent U.S. I think it was the UFC match. I forgot what the guy name. I think it's. Hold on, let me pull. I'm gonna have to pull that up too. 'Cause I know one of the guys that was in that fight. He lost the fight, but I know he was repping Miami real hard. Say it was all just speculations. I mean, from what I had seen, Slim, Mike Tyson and the guy, they actually were working out the deals and everything. They had it all set, pay-per-view and everything for the fight to happen. I know Mike Tyson started training for it and everything. So, oh y'all, let me get Slim Shady in the building. What's going on, Slim?
What's going on, boss?
All right, how you doing, man?
Tyson ain't nobody. Tyson, 54 years.
Yeah, from what I was hearing though, he was willing to fight. He wanted to fight. Can you hear me? Yeah, we're not getting no
Yeah,
audio.
can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounded like you had a bad connection.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I said Tyson ain't fighting nobody, man. He's 54 years old.
Before, man, but like I said, he wanted to fight. They had it booked, they had it scheduled and everything. I'm not sure what happened. I gotta look up the articles. But I seen it. I seen the videos where
I've heard a bunch of rumors,
yeah, because I
but
heard him and the guy was talking and going back and forth about it, and they had it all planned out. They had all came to an agreement on money and everything. So I'm not sure if coronavirus kind of killed the whole thing, but they were supposed to fight.
well, they've got boxing matches going on. I was watching some Saturday.
Yeah, the UFC going on. Did you see the match between the I can't get the two guys' name, but I know one of the guys was repping Miami real hard. And he actually the one that actually lost.
Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah. I heard he was repping the U hard. I seen a couple pictures of him wearing Miami Hurricane gear and everything. I heard he's from that area though. He's from Miami.
There's a video, I think Canes All Access uploaded it, I think. He showed up at practice.
Oh man.
I don't watch it as I used to. Most all my favorite fighters done got old and retired.
Yeah. Me myself, I've never really been a boxing guy. I mean, I've actually took a couple boxing lessons myself, but I've never actually been a boxing guy to keep up with, like, pay-per-view boxing or anything like that. I think, you know, the most exciting boxing match I watched was probably with Floyd Mayweather and what's his name? What's the Irish guy name? Uh,
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor. That's
And
pretty
I
much.
watched 3 full pay-per-views that he lost, but somehow they still gave him a win. Don't ask
Talking
me
about
how.
Floyd. You talking about Floyd?
Oh yeah, Floyd's lost a few fights.
Yeah, Floyd. I don't know. Floyd. Some point in time, somebody was saying Floyd don't throw enough hands, and then next thing you know, he knocking people out, and then next thing you know, he running and dodging again. But at the end of the day, you got to give it to the guy. He's the only boxer that I know that's undefeated.
That's his record says undefeated. His ass says something different.
I mean, I've seen some clips though when he get him and his father going at it. Like they get real arrogant.
They do, but I'm like legitimately. Oh, what was it? 6, 7 years ago, his first fight against Marcos Maidana, he lost that fight all day long.
VT say Floyd undefeated. Don't be a hater.
Got to be something to hate on, bro. Floyd's the best track star in boxing history.
Yeah, man. What's going on, Taz Haitian Canes? Man, you be looking real fresh on Instagram, man. I like that chain. Yeah, it said Floyd undefeated. Let's see. Jay Play say Floyd the truth. I like Floyd, man. Floyd got that attitude. He talks so much. He gonna hype up the fight, and like his records say, he ain't never talked and he ain't never lost.
Like I said, his record says it. I'll give him that. His ass says something different. I watched Oscar De La Hoya beat his ass for 12 rounds. I watched Zab Judah school him, and that one, Floyd actually should have been disqualified. His uncle Roger jumped into the ring on that one.
Yeah, Dennis said they showed Tyson workouts. He still can hit.
Oh, Mike Tyson will still knock out anybody on the planet. I have no doubts of that.
Man, I wish I could find the article, man. The other guy he was gonna go up against, whew, dude is a beast too.
Well, at first I heard it was going to be like an exhibition bout for charity or something. I'm like, you don't get in the ring with Mike Tyson for charity.
Jay Blake say Floyd is so good that his fights be boring. Man, I don't see Floyd fought a couple times. You'll duck and dodge and wear you out, and then he go on the attack.
There's still one person he never accepted his challenge, and I wonder if his ego is going to get the best of him and he's going to do it.
Who's that?
Roy Jones Jr. been calling him out for 10 years.
He ain't gonna fight him. He ain't gonna fight him.
He don't want none of that because
I
Roy
don't.
fast
If
as Floyd
I if I was Floyd, I'll just leave boxing alone right now. What you have done and accomplished has never been done before. Now, if you go out there and you slip up and lose to Roy Jones, everything that it's gonna undermine everything you've been.
Well, the only problem is he goes through money like me and you go through water.
I saw Oscar De La Hoya got his ass beat in the fight, and they gave him the win just to push another fight in the future. Yeah.
I think I know what fight he's talking about. I've seen Oscar lose fights that they gave him too. I ain't saying it only happened. It only happened with Floyd. I ain't saying that. There have been quite a few robberies I've seen over the years. That's why boxing's not as popular as it used to be. Because you see one-sided bouts. Dude, I watched this match. I think it was 2017. Manny Pacquiao fought this dude in Australia. landed 150 more punches and lost the fight. How does that happen?
And Dennis say Floyd dad was a good boxer too. I think that's
Well,
why Floyd and his dad clash so much, especially when it comes to that gym and who made Floyd himself. So they go back and forth and they get real grimy.
oh yeah, they do. And I'll even give Floyd the credit to this. I saw Floyd get robbed. And I want to say it was the 96, but it might have been the 92 Olympics. Whatever year Floyd was in the Olympics, he got robbed. Man, that was dirty. They robbed him so bad.
Floyd? You talking about Floyd? Oh, his dad.
No, I'm talking about Floyd. Floyd Mayweather Jr. When he was in the Olympics, I can't remember if it was 92 or 96 before he turned pro. He wanted to win the gold in the Olympics before he turned pro, and he won that fight all day long. Ended up with the bronze medal instead. They robbed him.
Yeah, like I said. Ray said it's 96.
Okay, I think it was one of the two.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not too big of a boxing guy, so y'all spitting knowledge to me right now.
I used to box Golden Gloves for a couple of
Yeah,
years.
I just went in the gym, learned the 1-2, pretty much. Just went in there to hit the bags, spar a little bit, but nothing much.
Yeah. That's part of the reason I don't watch UFC anymore. Because actually, back when I watched it, I wasn't even that big of a UFC fan. I watched Pride Fighting out of Japan more than anything. And that's 10 times better than what UFC is today. They ain't have no rules. You can do whatever the hell you wanted over there.
All right, well, let's get back to Miami Hurricanes football. What's your thoughts on the conference playing the coastal side first and then playing Notre Dame or whoever?
If they're not going to do Notre Dame, if they're going to try a conference only schedule, and I put it in the comments earlier, to me, throw some Florida teams on there. Play Florida, play UCF.
Yeah, but is that something that Florida were willing to do, and is that something that the SEC will be willing to let Florida do?
I don't know if the SEC has, as far as the commissioner or anything, has to approve that or not. I mean, it's probably not something Florida's willing to do. I mean, they've proven that.
Yeah, because right now, if they go conference only, I know they're talking about playing 10 games, so they're gonna
But
play they're gonna play the east side, and then they're gonna play like 4 games off the other side.
But I was reading something the other day. They were saying even if they went to a conference only schedule, Florida would probably still play FSU.
Yeah, games like that, it'll be tough not to play. I mean, it's not like they 100 miles away from each other.
Yeah,
They are about 100 miles away from each other.
yeah, that's the main reason why, because they're so close to each other. Not a lot of travel you have to do, and I mean, honestly, it makes even more sense than doing conference play.
Yeah, I definitely think. I think Florida should put Miami on there, regardless.
I've been
But
hollering out
what are your thoughts on playing Notre Dame, though?
I'm with, honestly, to me, the NCAA, since Notre Dame's not in the conference, they just need to tell Notre Dame you can't play this year because you're not in the conference, and make them join a conference.
You'll see how quick they join, because the revenue that they will lose. Oh my God.
Ooh.
And anyways, speaking of conference and all of that, if they go to an 8-team playoffs, how you think that'll work out?
I think it'll be a complete disaster for college football.
Why you say?
As bad as people want to see more marquee matchups now, you go to an 18 playoff, in my opinion, you'll see even less of them. There'll be pretty much no incentive whatsoever to, play big time games. And honestly, because of what you were saying about Alabama earlier, it'll take away incentive to really even win your conference. Because Alabama wouldn't have to, they could lose their conference every year. They'd still make the playoffs as long as they play.
I mean, the 18 playoff thing was only for this season, though.
Well,
it would only be for 2020.
Well, the deal with the 14 playoff expires in like 2025, and I'm afraid they're going to go to an 18 playoff then. I said originally, to me, it should be a 16 playoff. You get your 5 conference champs, 1 at-large bid. Now, whether that's a undefeated UCF or whether that's a 1-loss Alabama, I'm not as big on putting these smaller teams in there as a lot of people because, UCF beat Auburn that year. Let's be honest. You line up UCF in, 2017 against Alabama, they'd have been killed. Alabama would have crushed them.
Right now we'll never know. Ray with the $2 donation. Thank you, Ray. He said Notre Dame Miami would be a great game. It would be a great game. Come on.
I think I was saying this beat the other
Hold
day.
on 1 second. I got something. Every time for all the donations, I got a thing right here. No, not that one. There it is. That's for you, Ray. That's another Miami touchdown, man. That's what I'll be doing from now on for all donations. The Miami touchdown. Yeah, so continue what you were saying though, Slim.
Me and Pete were talking about this the other day. Whenever they expand the conferences again, and this year may lead to another round of conference expansion. In my opinion, the ACC needs to pick up West Virginia and Notre Dame. Put Notre Dame in the Coastal, put West Virginia in the Atlantic, mainly because I want to play Notre Dame every year.
I don't understand why West Virginia don't just join the ACC and get it over with.
For whatever reason, they joined the Big 12, but I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's like geographically, they're nowhere near any other team in the Big 12. But I think the Big 12 was just trying to pick up anybody they could.
And I honestly think that West Virginia was going to come to the ACC. I thought they would have came. They would have been they possibly could have been a rivalry for Miami, because I was talking with Zoe and Pete the other day, and they was talking about that too. Miami really don't have that set rival on rivalry week. Last cycle we played who? Duke. During rivalry week we played Duke. When Florida State is playing Florida, Georgia playing Georgia Tech, Clemson playing South Carolina, Alabama playing Auburn, all those key rivals. We don't have a key rival. And one of the teams that was tossed in there was Penn State. Say Penn State don't really have a rival either. That would be a great rival, for Miami and Penn State to stir up. I mean, they do have a little history. So, what's your thoughts on that one?
They do. Well, and that's part of my reason for wanting to bring Notre Dame in the Coastal. I mean, that way we can have a Coastal game last week of the season, and it's against Notre Dame. It's going to be a rivalry game as well.
That would actually be perfect if they do bring Notre Dame into the Coastal side, and have us play them every single season during rivalry week. That would be epic. That would be epic, man.
Yeah, because their contract, I think they end the season right now with USC, but their contract to play USC is almost up. Now, people forget, too, it wasn't until like 6 or 7 years ago it ended. Instead of Miami doing rivalry week, we used to open every season with Florida State.
I mean, right now, I think what they want to do as to the Miami and Florida State, I think they want to build the hype up a little bit before. Because I mean, I think it was a great idea having them play first, because then they could possibly still meet each other in the ACC championship.
Yeah.
So I mean, a win or a loss wouldn't dictate the whole season.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of the way it went there for that 6 or 7 year period. I mean, it's like they lost that Florida State game, they lost all their momentum for the rest of the season.
Man, it's a killer. It's a killer playing your rival the first week. I mean, look at Florida. When we played Florida last season, they didn't expect the game to be that close.
No, nobody
did. And a lot of Florida fans was talking shit because they actually went down in the rankings after they beat us. But they got to look at it too. Miami was unranked. We was put at the bottom of the barrel, and we came in there. We stuck with them, and they were supposed to be, I think, number 8 in the country at the time. Which week 1 actually proved that they didn't actually really deserve to be where they was put.
Well, I mean, I think they proved that all season. I mean, they're trying to hype up that they're a top 10 team. Yeah, you won your bowl game, but you almost lost to Vanderbilt. You almost lost to Kentucky. You almost lost to Tennessee.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills fans, that'll never happen. You say I want Florida in the ACC. That'll never happen.
No,
they would never do it.
No, Florida ain't leaving the SEC for too much money.
Not only that, the SEC they what's the word for it? They blueprint towards going towards a championship. It's pretty much paved. If you win out in the SEC, you pretty much going to the playoffs, and you have a chance of possibly winning the championship. Their formula right now is working.
Well, you could pretty much say that for any Power 5 team, for the most part. I mean, the only way right now a 12-0 Power 5 team doesn't make the playoffs is if there's 5 of
them. Yeah, but when you look at the teams that get like that one loss, and they go to picking who they're going to put in, they always seem to favor the SEC.
Well, I mean, they've only done it once in the playoff era, and the other time that they did it, it was Ohio State.
Hold on, say that again, Slim. These kids was being loud, man.
I said they've only done it to the SEC once since they've started the playoff system. The other time they did it was Ohio State.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, I don't see Florida ever wanting to join the ACC because they're more favored. If you ask pretty much any sports analysis when it comes to college football, they're gonna say SEC.
The only way Florida would leave the SEC is if Georgia beats them 50-0 like 10 years in a row.
It's possible too.
It's possible because Dan Mullen's a terrible coach, and God, I still can't figure out why they're so high on him. I really can't.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, if it wasn't for coronavirus, he wouldn't have a 2020 recruiting class left. They'd have all left by now. They're locked down. They can't go nowhere.
And I just wish they would play us every single season. I just wish that. I wish they'd come down off their
That,
high horse and play us every season.
well, and that's one thing I'll give Blake James credit for. That's something he's been campaigning for every year since he's been athletic director.
Yeah, he earlier on in the year he was doing an interview on Instagram Live, and I kept spamming that question to the point where the guy that was interviewing him just went ahead and asked him. I had the screen recorded it, and he was what he basically said was what we all know. He said, according to Florida, it doesn't fit their scheduling process or whatever. Because they already play Florida State every year. So that's one slot that's already taken up out of the non-conference games. And then if they played Miami, which is going to be another ACC team, then they don't have a possibility of probably opening up their schedule even more. Which to me, that's bullshit because they never really schedule anybody anyway. They
No,
non-conference games be cupcakes.
and that's the way it is for most teams. And I'm like a typical fan. If I had my way, I mean, considering Notre Dame's not in the conference now, I'd have Notre Dame, Florida, um, maybe one other. The weakest team I would probably put on non-conference would be UCF, because I actually do like Miami playing other teams out of the state of Florida, and then find somebody else like a Michigan State or a Texas A&M that's willing to play them. I'd rather 3 of their non-conference games be Power 5 teams, or in Notre Dame's case, an equivalent too.
Hold on, and say Florida can hang with Clemson, they would blow them out. They won't blow them out every year. I mean, at this moment right now, Florida probably could stick up with Clemson. I still would give Clemson the notch to win the game, but I mean, they're not too far off. Clemson is not.
Clemson would beat Florida like that.
Yeah, I got Florida losing that game, but I don't think it would be as bad as it would be maybe a year or two ago.
Well, no, they're probably a little better, but I mean, it's still going to be a 3-touchdown game easily.
Yeah, definitely. See, Florida has not played a non-con road game outside
They
of the
would beat
state of Florida. Florida has not played a non-con road game out of the state of Florida since 1993. Jeez. And why don't they just
1991.
go ahead and schedule Miami every year? Stop being scared of taking a loss and just schedule Miami.
Well, their excuse a few years ago was, the SEC is such a tough schedule, is why they didn't want to pick up any big time non-con games.
Man, excuses every year. I mean, look at Missouri. Missouri joined the SEC. In the first 2 years, they won the East. That just goes to show you, it's teams that could come out from the outside, come on in, and win in the SEC. Now, they don't went down hills after that, but I mean, it just shows you the SEC is not as tough as everybody think it is.
Well, no, I mean, for the past decade, it's been the Alabama show. I mean, outside of Clemson. I mean, not Clemson. Auburn had its 1 year with Cam Newton, and then LSU had its 1 year with Joe Burrow. I mean, since 2009, it's been the Alabama show.
Yeah.
And before that, you had the Gators for 2 years.
Yeah, the Gators 2006 and 2008.
I mean, some of that. Yeah, I mean, some of that is just The SEC has been on a run. I'll give them that. But some of it's just luck, too. Luck and good timing. Because right before the Gators, you had sandwiched in there was Les Miles' 2007 championship with LSU. And then you had the one in 04 with Nick Saban when he was there. But, I mean, the AP disagreed. They said USC was national champs that year.
What you think about that? He said Miami and Missouri would be a good rivalry. I'm not sure about that one because I don't think there's much history between Miami and
Based
Missouri.
on what? I mean, there's a little with Penn State, like you said earlier.
Yeah, he said VT said no, it wouldn't. FIU a bigger rival for Miami than Missouri. Yeah, we don't really have no history with Missouri. We got more history with West Virginia than any Notre Dame or Penn State. Those are the ones. Those are the ones I would look into, and the most probably one would be Notre Dame, especially at this moment if they force their hand to join the ACC.
I see that one as the most viable one. I mean, because Oklahoma's willing to play people. They've shown that, but they don't want to. I mean, they've shown they don't want to get caught up in a schedule with just one team. You know, they did a home and home with us. They did a home and home with Ohio State. You know, they like to swap it up.
I don't see no problem with that. I mean, even with us, with Michigan State, even though it didn't work out, it would have been good to go up there and play them, and then they have them come down next season and play us.
Well, they'll just push all that back a year. Is all they'll do.
And it would have looked real good on our schedule 2021 to have both Michigan State and Alabama, especially if we were to knock both of them off.
Okay, let's keep it in reality a little bit.
I mean, it's tough to say we're gonna beat Alabama, man. It's tough. I would have to see this whole season play out, the next recruiting class coming in, everything after that. Plus, you got to look at Alabama too. They're stacked. Plus, they're gonna have their guys coming in too, so it would be tough. I would just hope that if we were to lose to them, it wouldn't be no blowout.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna be at that game, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I ain't looking forward to it. My best friend's an Alabama fan. He's gonna be sitting in the seat next to me, talking shit in my ear the whole time.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a tough game, man. Right now, I'm not even making no predictions on it. I'm just looking at it like, let's see what this season gonna be like before I even start talking any kind of trash.
I have enough confidence in this team to say the defense can keep us in any
game. Yeah, I would say so too. Our defense has proven itself over the years. It's our offense that struggle. We haven't really had that offensive coordinator that been putting up numbers. Defense been fatigued the whole time.
Well, it's not even offensive coordinator. I mean, we haven't had a dynamic quarterback in quite some time
either. Yeah, it's definitely been inconsistent.
I mean, because you go from, after Dorsey and Berlin, you had, that 5-star kid, Kyle Wright. He didn't amount to much. Robert Marr, he ended up transferring out. Corey Harris. That whole class was supposed to be something. That was number one class in the country.
Yeah, Batu Perry, he said cancel the season, save the players for Alabama. And I don't think no college football fan want to agree to canceling that schedule, canceling the season. At this moment, I think we'll take anything. Oh, go ahead.
They're not moving the draft, so if they don't play, them picking up De'Aaron King is going to do them absolutely no good because he's gone come the draft regardless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of players given the opportunity, they gonna play. Some of them they on their season, they senior season. You know, veterans just left. They just getting a chance to step up now. They're gonna play if there's a season. It's gonna be a lot of them. It's gonna be a lot of them that's willing to play.
Now, unless the NCAA is going to grant, everybody, just act like this year didn't happen, it never existed, and their last year of eligibility would be next year, unless the NCAA does something like that. But I mean, even then, because of the draft, you'll see guys like you want what they were talking about before of possibly having football in the spring. You wouldn't see Trevor Lawrence or Travis Etienne, De'Aaron King, guys like that play.
Yeah, they definitely wouldn't. 'Cause I mean, then they give up their eligibility to be drafted. The
I think
VT,
Etienne's already a senior.
ETN a senior this season. Um, VT said I don't like the game at neutral site with Alabama. I wish we were playing them in South Florida. Yeah, playing Alabama in Atlanta, it's like a home game for Alabama. It's really a home game because Alabama is a couple hours.
Well, and a lot of people don't say anything. They jump on Florida like we did a minute ago. That's Alabama's big thing. They don't do road games per se. They'll do neutral site games with people. That's their big thing.
Hold on. Bills fans said that's why we didn't want King. I want Perry to develop and go have a rusty Perry. I want Perry to develop. We're going to have a rusty Perry. I mean, until King came in, until Reed Lashley came in with a whole different offense, wanting somebody that's been running the same offense that he's been running, everybody would have gave Perry the nod. I mean, well, then again, if King never came in, Jaron would have never transferred. So we'll be looking at a whole nother mess at quarterback.
Perry would fit better in this system than Jaron will.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that. I mean, Jaron leaving was pretty much a good decision for him, but going to like a JUCO school, it's like, come on, man. You might as well have stayed at Miami and compete and stop being a crybaby.
Well, he proved last season he doesn't want to put in the work. That's his problem.
Perry, I like Perry, man. Perry stick it out. Perry
I
trains
hope he
like
gets another chance to prove himself. I mean,
your audio going in and out.
Oh, my bad.
They say Perry trained like a starter every week, whether he start or not. His track record say he's a comeback kid. Yeah, I totally agree. The thing too is Perry's been put in so many bad spots. The guy been sitting on the sideline cold the whole time, and then as soon as Jaron mess up or whoever mess up, then they want to throw him in there and expect him to to work miracles. I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes he do, but to expect that from that kid every time, that's crazy.
Well, that's also part of life too. Is you've got to take advantage of the opportunities you get.
Yeah.
It ain't always going to be in an ideal situation.
Yeah, but you got to look at it too. They put him in the game. Oh, go ahead.
I said, I give you who was that quarterback that ended up winning those last 3 games for Ohio State in 2014.
14.
Ended up being their third string quarterback. I think Terrell Pryor was the starter. He got hurt.
13. My memory don't go back that far, especially not for Ohio State.
I can't think of his name, but I mean he literally, they got down to their third string quarterback by the time of the playoffs. I mean he made the most of his shot. Ohio State won the national title that year.
Hold on, they said Jaron should have gone to the Gators. I don't think the Gators would have wanted Jaron. See, Jaron had a bad track record, not on the field, off the field. He had a bad track record. As you can see, he went into the draft, the transfer portal, and nobody wanted him. Nobody went after him. You see, like you got DJ Daniels, guy that went to Georgia. These guys put in their transfer. Teams make them offers. Teams go after them. Teams show them interest. Nobody showed Jaron no interest. He said that the dude from Ohio State was Cardale Jones. Can you hear me, Slim? I think his audio went out.
Weak spot, yeah, I heard you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he said it was Cardale Jones.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Cardale Jones.
Well, he said, Buffalo Bill fan, what's to develop at Clemson when you have 5-star players year in and year out? I mean, sometimes you can't look at them stars, Dennis, man. Sometimes them stars don't mean nothing. Sometimes they do, though. I can't lie on that. But you gotta look at it. I mean, Ed Reed is a proven safety. When Ed Reed came to Miami, Ed Reed was a 2-star. The greatest safety to ever play the game.
Well, he's on the list, but there's a couple other names I'd throw on that list too.
Who you got?
Well, you'd have to go back to the late '70s, early '80s. Some of those Raiders defenses.
Oh no, I couldn't tell you anything about that. I was born in '88, man. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. If anybody has StreamYard that want to join us on the screen, y'all come on in. Said Cardell made plays for Ohio State because he was put in good positions to win games for them, and not to mention the supporting cast around him. Yeah, once you have a good line blocking for you, you got key receivers that can get open. You success is up to you basically after that. Cardell Jones. Say Cardell Jones is now in the XFL. Just watch him playing until they shut down. Yeah, that's tough, man. I was actually hoping that the XFL stuck around. You still here, Slim? I think we lost Slim. Can you hear me, Slim?
Yeah, I hear you. I figured it out. I hit a button.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was hoping that XFL and that AAF would stick around.
Ed Reed had Butch too. Yeah, Butch was good at developing players. Still today, I think that national championship that we got with Larry Coker, I still say that's Bush championship. Because I mean, I probably could have coached a team and won a championship. That team was so stacked.
You know what's bad though, in my opinion, just looking at the rosters, they were more stacked the year before in 2000.
We should have won that championship too.
Yep.
We should
They
have been the
actually had
three.
to change the whole BCS computer program because of that year.
They said Georgia does less with more talent, so that don't mean nothing. I mean, it's tough, man. I was talking to Sergeant AR-10, and he was telling me, "Oh, Georgia go through all these, you know, injuries or whatever." I'm like, "So does every other team. It's a roll of the dice. Every time you go out there, you're gonna have teams with key players that's injured. You're not the only team that gonna have injuries, so you can't make that no excuse. You have three and out players. They come, they get developed, and they go to the league. They don't stick around for that fourth year that you probably could have won a championship. I mean, it's great that you can develop players and put them in the league, but you're not winning no championship for your school. That's why it's been 40 years.
Well, right now, I'll give Georgia this much. A lot of the reasons they haven't won a championship in the last 4 or 5 years is Kirby's mistakes. And I mean, some of the stuff Uncle Lou says is right. I mean, look at Nick Saban's first 4 or 5 years. He was busy losing to teams like Indiana.
Yep.
So, I mean, I got to give Kirby credit for what he's done so far. But, I mean, some of it's kind of glaring as far as he won't leave that damn offense alone. And he ain't got nobody to blame there but himself.
Yeah. Dennis say T2Y Clemson Bama goes after top notch people, so it's not about the stars, it's about who's coming to perform now. Yeah, it's I mean, stars, like I said, don't get me wrong, stars are good or whatever. If you get them and you actually develop them and they play up to their potential. But when you have go out and get players that fit your system that, works well with the other people on the team, they like complement each other. Then you got a whole set of players that got so much chemistry and that could do so much things together that it'd be phenomenal altogether. You'll be surprised how much games you win that you're not supposed to win. Well, they say you're not supposed to win.
Well, and talking about, what they say you're not supposed to win, that first national title Dabo won with Deshaun Watson, their average recruiting ranking class was 14th.
Oh, speaking of recruiting, let me take a look at the rankings, see, because since we did sign those players, well, not signed, since we did get a commit over the week from Cameron Kitchens. Let's see if they actually moved Miami up in the rankings. Nope. We actually didn't move at all. We actually dropped the notch. We got 17 commits so far. 8 of them being yeah, 8 of them being 4-star. Tennessee's looking pretty good in there too. Tennessee's number 4 in the country.
Tennessee's looking good right now, but Tennessee's already got 25 commits. They can't. That's all they can have. So they can't climb any higher. So now a lot of these teams like Miami that's behind them, we can get 8 more, we might very well may end up passing Tennessee.
Yeah, because right now you're looking at number 1 being Ohio State, Clemson 2, North Carolina number 3. Now that's crazy. North Carolina jumping up like that. Tennessee 4, LSU 5, Oregon 6, USC 7, Michigan 8, Florida 9, Texas 10, Alabama number 11, and Florida. I'm at Miami at 12 with Georgia right behind them at 13. Which I do probably see Georgia jumping Miami too, because I mean a couple weeks ago Alabama was sitting at number 18. But I mean a lot of the players haven't even committed yet, haven't done no visits or anything like that. And you got Florida State sitting down at 25. So they even dropped in recruiting also. So far, they only got 4-star players to actually commit to them out of their 13 commits.
Well, they lost a couple when those players come out and said Mike Norvell lied. They lost a couple players.
Yeah, man, Mark. uh, that was funny to me. I ain't gonna lie, that was funny to me, man. That was so. It was like you just came out on national TV telling them, "Oh, you did this and you did that," and then all of the players say, "No, the hell we didn't. We don't remember that shit. We don't remember none of that." And it's funny, but you know what I like about Norvell, man? I give it to him. He rectified that situation real quick. He got
Yeah.
down. He got down and dirty real quick. Because if he would have let that linger around, man, they programmed this season probably be a total disaster.
That'd have been your ass, Miss Postman.
That would have been a tough situation. Their whole team would have fell apart.
Even more than they already have.
AR-10 will be saying the same thing 3 years from now. AR-10 is one of those Georgia fans that he just, I think he just liked the fact that they put players in the league and they compete, winning 10 games or more each season. I can't, I, I can't, man. I can't see. I think it'll hurt me more seeing Miami win 10 games every season for the next 10 seasons and don't win nothing. It'll be a constant get your hopes up and then, kill you at the end.
Well, Miami went through a 10-year drought. They didn't win one from, what was 91 to 01. Now, granted, they played in several of them in that time span, but they didn't win one.
Yeah, we didn't win one, but we was in the picture. We was playing. We actually didn't win the big ones, but we were actually playing in them. We
Oh,
had
yeah.
we had the chance to actually win them, but we didn't.
Yeah, they lost it in 92 and then again in, I want to say, 94.
Yeah, 92. I think it was to Alabama,
Yeah.
and I forgot what the other one was. It's just tough. I'm not gonna lie though. 2017, I was rooting for Georgia so bad. I wanted to see them beat Alabama so bad, man. And then when they had that lead and everything, I was like, I was celebrating with them. Congratulations, Georgia, man. Just didn't work out that way.
No, old pineapple come in there and ruin their day.
That was tough. That
No,
was
what was
real
tough
tough.
is the very next year when Jalen Hurt come in the second half of that game and did it to him again. That's tough.
John said, "What up, all T2Y and Kane family?" He said, "How motivated are the Noles coaches, with them getting a big cut in salary, I heard that they can't even afford to wash their players' uniforms. That's tough, man. That's tough. I mean, but Florida State always had good boosters. I mean, they got Willie Taggart up out of there. They paid him up out of there.
They couldn't get Willie Taggart out of there fast enough. And I found that same petition website you had. I was finna start one to get Willie Taggart a lifetime contract. Keep him in there like they did Bobby Bowden.
Man, I think all the signatures you would have had on there would have been Miami fans, and probably some Gator fans too.
Probably.
Oh man,
That was a coaching hire I never understood, because for the people that, and I've heard people try and defend Willie Taggart, he has a losing record everywhere he's been a head coach.
yeah, Willie should have never been at Florida State. They know it. They know it. It's when he came from Oregon, he had a bad record over there too.
Well, he'd only been an Oregon coach for 1 year.
If you can't win at Oregon with the schedule that they be having, it's tough to come over and try to win at a program like Florida State. I mean, Bobby Bowden didn't make it no better for anybody who followed after him.
It's tough to follow Bobby Bowden.
You know, Bobby Bowden, they talking about changing the stadium from Doak Campbell to Bobby Bowden.
Well, it's already the field's named after Bobby Bowden, so I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
I heard some people were saying that they should change the field from Bobby Bowden Field to Peter Ward or one of those guys, Charlie or whoever.
Board.
Yeah, name the stadium.
I mean, that's what it all boils down to, is whoever's cutting them a check, that's whose name they're gonna put on it. I mean, you never saw the Orange Bowl because the city of Miami actually owned the Orange Bowl. That didn't belong to the school. The city built it for the school way back.
VT, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Ain't nobody was paying no Miami players, okay? He said, I think it was Luke Skywalker paying Miami players to score touchdowns. I don't know what.
He's already spoke on that, and that would be an NCAA violation, and he knows nothing about it.
I know nothing about it. I don't care if a player got this, that, and the third. If I saw it with my own two eyes, I did not see it with my own two eyes. I ain't saying nothing.
Well, people that say that, oh my God, it happens every school in America. You're crazy if you think it doesn't.
Look at the guy out of Duke. What's the name? The basketball player that just came out of Duke. Zion Williamson. He's being sued. He's being sued right now because apparently allegedly they saying that his stepdad took like $400,000 from an agency that once he get in the league he would sign with them, and when he didn't, I guess they try to pay back the money with extra $100,000 on top of it, but the agency don't want that. They trying to sue him for $100 million, which is crazy, man. Then I'm looking at fraudulent, driver's license where they got his weight and his height in different places and stuff, so they can't really tell if it's like really him that signed it or anything like that.
Right.
I think it's gonna drag his name through the mud, but eventually it's just gonna get tossed away.
I mean, probably. I mean, by the time Cam Newton hit the NFL, nobody cared that he was stealing laptops and that his daddy got
paid. I mean, it's tough, man. Look at Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush took all that money, and they finally found out he was already in the league.
Yeah, I'm about to say he'd been in the league for about 3 or 4 years by then. Well, when when Pete Carroll snuck out in the middle of the night, I knew something was up at USC.
Truth be told, Uncle Luke has helped save a lot of kids, and not mentioning he said rap music. Yeah, got a lot of respect for Uncle Luke. Uncle Luke is a big Miami Hurricane fan.
I don't know. He been sounding like up until 2017, he was starting to sound like a Florida State fan.
He was starting to sound like a Florida State fan this season. He was speaking on their behalf a lot.
Yep, he's been doing that for the past about 7-8 years. Like I said, up until 2017, Miami hit number 2 in the country. All of a sudden, he's throwing on them old starter jackets
again. You know how it go, man. So these fans, see, that's another thing too. That's why I'm glad I got my tattoo right now. Before we start winning championships again and all that, because a lot of people gonna look back and say, "Oh, you just got it because y'all winning, or y'all got a championship now." Some of these stuff is the best time to actually be seen as a fan. When you down and out and everybody in the country hating and talking trash about you, and you've been living through it for the past 20 years or so, when you win, it's bittersweet.
Well,
my next door neighbor, he's a LSU Tiger. He from Baton Rouge. So the whole season he was telling me, man, oh, we're gonna win it all. We're gonna win it all. And I was like, hey, y'all look good, and you gotta watch out for Ohio State and Clemson and stuff. Hey, they won the championship. He been real humble about it though. He ain't one of those guys that, oh, y'all suck though. Y'all ain't been nothing for the past 20. I was talking to him the other day about them, what they think, gonna happen in this season coming up. Do he see them being as good as they was, especially after losing Joe Burrow? He's like, he think the next quarterback gonna step up just the same. Like, I doubt that, but hey, I doubt that. Period.
Well, Joe Brady's gone too, and that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have a quarterback like Joe Burrow in a long time.
Man, honestly, the down times like this don't bother me as bad because I know it happens to everybody. You couldn't find an Alabama fan 20 years. They were all NASCAR fans. You couldn't find them.
You know how it be. It's like Clemson fans. I say it every day. They just crawled from under a rock. For the past 5 years, they've been showing up everywhere.
Yep. I mean, how many Nebraska fans did you have back in the day when they were on their 40-year run, when they were in the top 10 every single year? You can't find a Nebraska fan now.
Wait, did USC actually return the national championship trophy?
I don't know, but I know Reggie Bush gave back the Heisman.
They just gave it back to him too.
Did they give it back to him?
Yeah, they finally letting him come back around. They apologized to him and everything. It's crazy.
Well, no, that was the NCAA that took the Heisman back from Reggie Bush.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about them taking the national championship trophy though.
I think if you have to forfeit it, yeah, you don't get to keep the trophy. You're basically that season.
But my thing is, we all seen you play the national championship. We all seen you win it. You forfeited it or not. Who's gonna say you didn't win it? It's all been documented on film. We all saw the championship games. We all saw the season. Saying, we're gonna erase that. At the end of the day, it don't mean nothing. We all seen it. We witnessed it with our eyes.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, everybody in Memphis said the same thing when they come back and said Memphis had to forfeit that season that they ended up losing to Kansas in the national championship game of basketball because Derrick Rose was ineligible.
And like I said, with these sports, somebody's getting paid somewhere, and it's going unseen. Now it depends on who you getting paid by too, and what kind of deal you making with these people, because a lot of these players they'll make these deals with these agencies and don't fulfill them, and then next thing you know, the agency come out and say it because they being screwed out of millions. I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, if I was an agent and I'm boosting a player, and then in the end he gets his contract and then he screws me, even though we've been buddy buddy the whole time and we had an agreement, I'd be mad too.
Out like Nevin Shapiro finding out he ain't have no friends.
See, he was a different case. He was a whole different case. He thought he thought that basically him going to prison and all that, everybody would stuck with him. I mean, how they gonna stick with you when you ratting out everybody? When you trying to bring the whole program down?
Well, that's why he did it, because nobody wanted anything to do with him. But hell, I mean, you basically robbing little old ladies. Ain't nobody gonna stick behind you doing that.
Exactly. Nobody want to associate their name to that kind of fraud. Anyways, guys, if you came into the show late, basically the non-con games are gone. Pretty well. It's not been stated yet for a couple of conferences, but it's pretty much in the works that the non-conference games will be gone. We'll be going to conference only, and then Miami is very interested in playing Notre Dame, so Notre Dame might actually have a season. You know, they might not actually have to join the ACC to actually, get a good schedule. So they might end up playing Miami. They might still play Clemson and a couple other ACC teams to fill out their schedule. Blake James himself has said that he's interested in playing Notre Dame. He wants that game to happen. I mean, it had a lot of magnitude last time in 2017, so we'll see where it goes from there. But if I was ahead of the ACC, I would give Notre Dame an ultimatum: you join or you don't play. That's it. Or go find somebody else to play. But we're not letting you play.
Now, here's a question: if that game does happen, is it going to be in South Bend or is it going to be in
Yeah, now that's a tough one too.
Miami? I would assume
Me
it would be in
personally,
South Bend.
yeah, I was gonna say, me personally, I wanted to be in Miami, but last time we played them, it was in Miami, so I'm thinking it's gonna be up there. But if I mean if we're gonna play them and we forcing their hand, we could probably negotiate for that home. Like, look, we know you ain't got no season. We know you ain't got nobody to play. We'll put you on the schedule, but you got to play at our home.
Hell, BYU's looking for somebody to play too. They ain't in no conference.
Yeah, man. I think right now would be a lot of time. These conferences could take advantage of it. Hey, look, join our conference, you get to play. Now, if all the conferences come together and say these teams don't join the conference, we're not letting them play. They don't have a legitimate season. It'll be tough.
Well, there'd be some salty Notre Dame fans running around.
Oh, trust me, there'll be a lot of them.
There'd be some salty Notre Dame fans running around.
Oh man, but me personally, I want to play them. I want us to play them.
I'm all for it. Put them and the Gators on the schedule every year.
Yeah, I'll definitely play the Gators every year. But if we could get Notre Dame this season, it'll be a good look for us because our schedule before was pretty weak. But anyways, man, I'm gonna wrap this up, y'all. Been on for almost 2 hours now, so I'm gonna wrap the show up. Thank y'all for coming through. Thank you, Slim, for joining me on.
I appreciate you letting me on, fellas.
All right, no problem, man. Anytime. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Y'all be safe. Take care of yourself and everything. And I'm out.